Good morning, world. This is the Space Cowboy coming from the Interplanetary Good Vibes Zone, and today we are talking about Dragon Quest. We are just in a really great spot right now for all of us Dragon Quest fans, and even just JRPG fans in general, man. Just RPG fans in general. Just so much stuff going on. Obviously, if you watched the Nintendo Direct a few days ago, you're already aware that we are getting another remake for Dragon Quest VII, and the reason why I say another is because we do have the 3DS remake of Dragon Quest VII that we got um, several years ago. But regardless, this is still great. If you've been keeping up with Dragon Quest, we've just been in a good place between the remakes for the original trilogy, and now we got another remake coming up very soon, very, very soon. And we're just going to be talking about Dragon Quest. And if you want to get into these games, this is the best time to do it. But before we do all of that, real quick, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please sub to the channel. The goal for the end of the year right now is 500 subs. So please, if you like what I do, if you enjoy the stuff that I talk about and everything, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like the video, make sure you're commenting, let me know how you feel and all that stuff. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and just talk about Dragon Quest, man. So, obviously, I've been playing Dragon Quest 3. I've been playing the remake. I've been streaming it, actually. And it's great. It's great. Now, obviously, the game is about what you would expect from Dragon Quest. I do like the quality of life changes that we have been getting in terms of, making things better and all that kind of stuff. All the new tweaks and new additions to, like, a new job class and new abilities that you might not have been able to learn from, in the original games, new enemy types, the monster arena, all that stuff has been pretty cool. But in terms of the actual game itself, it's still Dragon Quest. And I like that. It's fine. It doesn't drastically, change the experience. This isn't like a Final Fantasy VII remake, situation where it's like the entire story's changed and all that kind of stuff. And I actually came across a couple of posts here and there where some people have been kind of talking about why they didn't like the remake for 3 and some of them probably just didn't enjoy it all that much, and that's fine. That's it's your opinion. You can't force anyone to like something that you may like if they don't really enjoy it all that much. Although I will say some of those opinions did come off as a bit nitpicky. They didn't really go into any big explanations or like even like a decent explanation of why they didn't like it. It all came down to kind of, or at least it seems like it came from nostalgia. And it's like, listen, nostalgia is a powerful thing. I get it. I understand. But I don't know. Like, I think the remakes are a really solid place for anyone who's never played these Dragon Quest games to get into it, because at the end of the day, you gotta think about the fact that those original Dragon Quest games are Famicom games. They're pretty old. It's gonna be hard to get a lot of people into playing those original games if they haven't played Dragon Quest before. And Dragon Quest has always been a series already that's struggled with its national audience versus something like Final Fantasy. So playing these remakes where you get a lot of really cool quality of life changes and even some new additions to slightly improve on the gameplay while also still retaining that original like retro RPG structure without banging your head against the wall. I think it's great. That's perfectly fine. And even for somebody like myself, listen, I've been playing video games for a very long time, and for as much as I have played those OG like structured style of like RPGs with like Dragon Quest, even like some of the older like an older Final Fantasy here and there I might have tried out, but like other stuff that I played like the Golden Sun games, and even like Battle Network to a degree, to some degree, I do agree that we need some form of like modernisms with like quest markers and everything like that. Like not everybody's going to want to figure out everything on your own, especially when we're talking about RPGs, within the modern day in terms of like, the characters and the stories and, like bringing together that cohesiveness. Like it's not 1980, 1990 anymore. And I don't mean to say that for anyone who has played those games growing up. That's even older than me. I'm not trying to say that in a bad way. I'm just saying I do think there needs to be a balance of retro and modern, at least when we are talking about some of these older series like Dragon Quest, at least with these couple of remakes. And like I said, I do think the Dragon Quest III remake does a good job of it. And from what I've seen from the trailer that came out with Dragon Quest 1 and 2, for the 1 and 2 remakes coming up, I do think the changes are going to be mostly the same, just like how we did with Dragon Quest 3, with like the quest markers, the mini map, and being able to like do certain things. There are going to be slight different changes though, because those games are different. Like Dragon Quest 1 being a solo adventure, it's just the hero, there's nothing else. He's going to be able to learn different new abilities to be able to counter all of the different monsters that are going to be in that game, including the new monsters that they're added in. Because I actually wasn't aware, or rather, I just found out, while playing the game, I found out that there were also some monsters that were not in the original Dragon Quest 3 that are in the remakes. Crazy, I actually didn't caught on to that. But there's going to be like, new ways for you to learn abilities through like scrolls and tombs, I believe it is. That's going to be for both 1 and 2. And there was a rumor about 1 that apparently you were going to be able to recruit the monsters. They did not include that in that trailer, so most likely that's not true. It still could be cool if that is a thing, but if it's not, then it's fine. It was a rumor to begin with. And then for like 2, there's going to be changes to, the core party members slightly, learning brand new abilities and being more tailor-made for certain roles, and also gaining a new party member that was not originally available in the original Dragon Quest 2. That is a core member of Dragon Quest, that's a core part of Dragon Quest 2's story, which I think is pretty good and pretty cool. You're going to be able to expand a little bit more on the Dragon Quest 2 narrative, considering that game's characters, at least compared to Dragon Quest 1 and 3's, they are more characters than they are just generic role. Like, they actually do feel like, oh, it's a character I'm picking up and playing with, rather than the hero. And in 3, it's same thing, except you have party members. And we are expanding more within the story too, because even with the Dragon Quest 3 remake, we've been getting like all those new additions with like the cutscenes with the hero, with the hero's father, Ortega, and even that game making ties to 1 and 2, because obviously, if you don't know, or let me not say obviously, I'm sorry, because some people may not be aware, or some people are not aware anyway. But Dragon Quest 3 chronologically takes place before 1 and 2, so it's Dragon Quest 3 first. So there are some like Easter eggs and even like some new like little story additions that do kind of tie some stuff in to 1 and 2, which I think is sick. And I think it's going to be the same thing for 1 and 2. I'm pretty sure we're also going to get like some new story cutscenes and maybe even like some voice acting to kind of tie everything together and actually make the story and the world feel more cohesive, and actually make it feel like it matters a bit more. As compared to back then when they were just, very much one game. Stories don't matter. The characters really don't matter all that much. It's pretty much like your standard fanfare. You're the hero and you go defeat the villain, which I don't have an issue with that. I've seen from all sides of like a very simple story to a very like, more built upon, structured story and all that kind of stuff. And with Dragon Quest VII, again, like, for one, I think it looks good. Some people, I've actually heard a couple people say they didn't like the way it looks. I don't know what they're talking about. Dragon Quest has always looked like that. If you go watch the trailer for 7, like, I agree, maybe to a degree it might look a little jarring at first, but if you're aware of Dragon Quest, it's always looked like this. And I've also even heard people bring up like, oh, it doesn't look like Toriyama style. And it's like, well, Toriyama style is in the artwork and the concepts art and all that stuff. It's not really in the games all that much most of the time, but you still see those Toriyama-isms in 7 Reimagined. I don't know why you don't think that. I think it looks good. I think it looks really good. And I'm kind of interested in seeing how they change that up in comparison to I guess, what the original was because, or not even the original, but the 3DS remake. And just assume it's probably going to play a little bit more closer to Dragon Quest 11, because even though it's been actually several years since Dragon Quest 11 came out, because Dragon Quest 11 I think was like 2018, 2019, around that time. So it's been a minute since we got that too. Maybe even like 2017, to be honest. Especially if we're talking about because I do think it released in Japan first, and then it probably took about a year or so, maybe even a little less than that, for it to get out worldwide. But we're eating good right now. We're in a really fantastic spot between the three remakes, with the trilogy, and then we got this coming up very soon in February, mind you. Like it's not like this is coming out like, oh, 2026, and it's like a year off. This shit comes out February the 5th. That's right around the corner, to be honest. And it's crazy for me because I still have to play 1 and 2 next month. But then I have the Trails in the Sky remake that I decided to pick up this week. And then I still got to play like some other games like Shinobi. I still got to play Shinobi. Ninja Gaiden 4 comes out next month too, so that's already clashing with Dragon Quest. And I already made a decision to get that before Dragon Quest, just because I gotta take I gotta take a break from an RPG, especially with Trails coming out. It's a lot. I still got games. I still got games to catch up on and play. Which again, real quick, just want to throw this in there. Never let anybody tell you there's no new games, or never let anybody tell you that gaming is dead. It definitely wasn't dead last year, and it damn sure isn't dead this year. There's a crap ton of stuff to get into and play this year. There's a lot. There's still things I'm catching up on and everything. Again, I know not everybody out there is the same, but if you're a person that loves video games, there is always something out there for you to try out, and that's pretty much what this video is too. Just if you want to get into Dragon Quest, even if you're not going to stick with it, I'm not telling you that you have to, become a die-hard loyalist like myself and some others out there. Try it out. Just try it out. I think this is a really great time. This is probably the best time now more than ever for anyone to get into Dragon Quest. For the remakes, if you want to try the mainline games, like I said, we got 7 coming out very, very soon in February next year. Just like 5 months off. And even if you don't want to try the mainline games, you could still play Monsters. I think the latest Monsters came out maybe about a couple years, maybe it might be like 1 or 2 years old or something like that, as far as the West is concerned anyway. And then you can even play like Builders and like, Heroes and all that stuff if you want to try the Muso games. My only thing though is that they, like, at least with some of those older games, like the spin-offs and all that stuff, they don't go on sale often, which is unfortunate, but I do hope that because of Dragon Quest 3, and then we got 1 and 2 coming out next month, and then we got 7 Reimagined coming out as well. I do hope Square takes this opportunity to go, maybe we should try pushing out some of our other stuff, because we got, again, Dragon Quest 11, very highly praised game. A lot of people enjoyed Dragon Quest 11 very much. And I think this could be a great opportunity for Square to start pushing out like a Dragon Quest like special sale, where it's like you have all of these games that you do have access to, start putting those on sale. You can even start making that push to get more fans in, because now that we're finally getting the ball rolling and all this stuff, and especially after Toriyama's passing, and throwing things in the monkey wrench and all that kind of stuff with the development with Dragon Quest 12. We still don't know what's going on with Dragon Quest 12, but I can only hope, like I said, we've been on a roll, so I can only hope that with all the good fortune we've been receiving between these games and, the sales and, all the new fans coming in, or even just old fans rediscovering and all that kind of stuff, I can only hope that Dragon Quest 12 does finally get an official trailer, because mind you, the teaser came out years ago. This is around the same time the original Dragon Quest 3 remake trailer came out, because that was around the 35th anniversary for Dragon Quest on like 2019, around that period. So now that we finally got these remakes and all that stuff out of the way, I'm really hoping that we can still get some sort of confirmation that Dragon Quest 12 is still being developed, it's well on its way, and that hopefully we just might even get an official trailer to some capacity. I'm hoping it would be this year's Game Awards, because I can't imagine anything else this year as far as like big shows that could be revealed. I guess TGS could also be an option, but seeing how soon that's coming up, because TGS starts in like the next week or two, so I don't know. Now, I'm not gonna say it won't show up. I could be surprised completely. I don't know, but I think the Game Awards could be a pretty big place, pretty important show for something as big as a Dragon Quest 12, like the next big mainline game to be revealed at. So let me know how you guys feel. If you're excited about all this stuff. Like I said, I'm very excited. Dragon Quest fans, we are eating real good. JRPG fans, just RPG fans in general, we are eating good still. Not just with Dragon Quest, but with the plethora of all these, RPGs, new and old coming out. Like I said, I'm picking up Trails of the Sky this week, and I'm gonna, dive into that series for the first time, even though I have been kind of aware of it for a little bit with like some of the other Trail stuff. I just never got to play those games. And there's even like an arena fighter that I just found out about. And if you know me, listen, I'm a big fighting game guy, so I'm definitely picking that up. Not arena fighter, it's like a crossover thing. I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna pick that game up too. And yeah, guys, please join the conversation. Let me know what you're thinking. And yeah, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Make sure you're interacting with me more. The community page. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you never miss any updates for uploads and live streams on the channel. And with all that being said, this is the Space Cowboy. Hope you guys have a good night.